Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm in my new place, our new place. I am married now. We just got back from our honeymoon and I am making breakfast. Spencer's on a call. And so I'm making him breakfast. It's 10:30. This is a little late for us, but we've both been just like trying to recover from the wedding, honestly, and the honeymoon and just, ease back into life. So here I am. I am making hash browns. So I'm cutting up my potatoes nice and finely, chopping them. And let me see if I can add so you guys can see. Never mind our garbage on the floor. We we literally moved in like a couple weeks ago, so we are still like trying to figure out where everything goes and all the stuff that we need to buy. So it's a little bit of a mess in here. So just forgive us. Um, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the fact that there's new research out, there's new research out that says that long-term intermittent fasting is not healthy and it's not good for you, and it has detrimental effects. And I've been saying this for months and years, but as with most trends, there is this desire to lose weight as quickly as possible and find a cheat around moderation. And I think that's just the scope of what we're dealing with in the United States is this desire to forego moderation instead of you know just learning how to eat appropriately and for your body type. So one thing that I have said for years is that long-term fasting is not good for women, particularly because of the way that our hormones function. We actually need more hits of glucose and more hits of food so that our body knows that it's safe to produce the appropriate hormones for weight loss and muscle gain. And I can link you to studies after studies after studies. At first, the research was like, okay, women can fast for like 10 to 12 hours, maybe 14 at the max. All these 16 to 20-minute fasts are really not 20-hour fasts are not beneficial for women. And I could have told you that. And the reason why I can tell you that is because I, like everybody else who competed and was in the health and fitness industry 10 years ago, we all did intermittent fasting and the same thing happened to us. We all started to have negative effects on our bodies. We all started to experience weight gain, bloating, signs of autoimmune disease, and we all started to feel off. And that's because our hormones as women are a little bit different. If you think about it, women were the gatherers. So they did have snacks and fruit and things like that, even when, there wasn't meat. So there was always like women had berries and nuts and things like that to snack on. It's not like they were just eating meat. We pretend like they were just eating only when, they hunted. That's just not even true. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in my Trader Joe's, like onions and peppers. So here's what they're finding for men and women. So long-term fasting makes your body go what's called catabolic. Catabolic means that your body starts to break down muscle. Okay. So if you're fasting for 24 hours every single day, or essentially eating every other day, your body is going catabolic at some point. Okay. So to some degree, this can be beneficial, right? Your body can burn fat, right? Like that's the whole point. So I'm just going to saute those veggies, and then I'll season the potatoes when they're in the pan. So what happens is your body goes catabolic, and what that means is you start to lose muscle. Now, short term, this is not going to have a massive effect, right? But if you're someone who's looking to perform, name me one athlete who intermittent fasts. I'll wait for it. Name me one athlete. Why? Because athletes need to preserve as much muscle as possible on their bodies and preserve as much strength as possible. And we know that that's not the case. That does not benefit them to fast. They know this. So this is why athletes don't fast regularly, right? They may do like something like once on the weekend or something, but I'm talking about people who fast every other day. We know this, right? So what the research is saying is that because people are long-term fasting, they're actually losing muscle. And why is this detrimental? Well, your heart's a muscle, number one. Number two, muscle is the organ of longevity. People who have more muscle mass on their body are more resistant to diseases. They can handle more procedures, like even surgery, chemotherapy, they can handle more of it because their body has muscle on it. People who have more muscle have more dense bones, particularly women. So they are prevented against osteoporosis, which is something that women have because of the estrogen in our bodies. So long term, people are fasting, but what they're doing is they're breaking down this muscle. And so, yes, they're losing fat. And a lot of these women are not like, okay, and this is controversial. A lot of these women are not actually like toned, truly toned. Like their body fat percentage is a little higher. They're holding on to water. And if they just ate in regular intervals, even 3 meals a day, they would see an exponential increase in their body fat, a better decrease in their body fat percentage. And they would also see increase in energy, and they would be able to manage their hormones better. But what's happening is women are fasting, and long term, they're finding out that they're not actually as healthy as they thought they were. If your goal is to be toned, if your goal is to be healthy and strong, but you're fasting, you're counteracting that. Because at the end of the day, when you think about this in the terms of long-term health, if you're fasting, you are catabolic. You are not preserving muscle. Fasting is not beneficial for preserving muscle. It's logic. I don't need a study to tell me that. Now there are studies, but it's logic. If you are fasting for extended periods of time, that's like 18, 24 hours for months on end, you are catabolic. You are breaking down muscle. And if you break down muscle, you do not have the muscle that you need in order to maintain your frame, to maintain your health. We know that people who have lower body fat percentages, which means they have higher amounts of muscle, are at lower risk for diseases like heart disease and diabetes. But there are plenty of people, you guys, who I see who are fasting, and they've got flabby arms, they've got a lot of weight in their midsection. This is not an indictment or judgment on them, but the point I'm trying to make is that these people are not as fit as they could be. So we want to, my whole thing about fasting has always been that the reason why people fast is because they don't want to do the work. And the work is, I have to eat in moderation. I have to conduct myself in a way that requires me to be a little bit more disciplined. Because when you fast, essentially, if you watch most people who fast, they fast for their hour, 24 hours, 18 hours, and then they binge eat. And binge eat means they just eat massive meals, right? And it's hard for them when they come off of fasting to eat like, let's say 3 meals a day, because they're used to having these massive plates of food. That's when it satisfies that binge restrict service for them. It also oftentimes, when you're fasting, the truth is, I'm not going to lie to you guys, you can get away with eating more junk. It's a fact. It is a fact in terms of weight. Now, we know that body composition has to do with food, the quality of food intake, right? So if you're eating high quality food, your body fat percentage will be better. But people who tend to do these long fasts also have poorer eating habits. Like I'm hard pressed to find someone who, you guys, I'm looking for my garlic. Okay. I'm hard pressed to find someone who intermittent fasts, but eats like completely healthy most of the time. It's hard, right? They're almost on this like super high binge. And so you have to, I'm telling you guys the truth, because I've been there. I've seen it with my clients. I've observed these people online who are fasting, and they are eating massive meals with, yes, processed foods, because they're trying to they're trying to get away with as much as they can, right? Instead of just eating meals, as many meals as possible, or the right quality of food. So all of this to say, the goal is always going to be health. And if we know that healthy people have healthy body fat percentages, and we know that fasting, long term fasting, decreases muscle mass, then we are acting counterintuitively, okay, when we fast. The other question is, I always ask my clients to be honest with themselves. That's my thing, is like, be honest, right? Are you fasting because you don't want to deal with the moderation? Are you fasting because you think it's going to get you to weight loss faster? If you had to eat 5 meals a day, what would you eat? Or four? Five is actually too many. I only eat 3, and maybe I'll have a snack. If you had to eat 4 meals a day, would you be able to? Would you be able to eat 4 smaller meals a day? Do you have portion control? Like, these are some genuine questions that I would be asking, because what I've seen is that people will pretend like this is about weight loss, but the reality is that they are out of control in their ability to eat appropriate amounts of food. Okay. As I said before, we know that for women, it's really important that women have, regular intervals and hits to their thyroid, and carbohydrates. And so often what times comes with a lot of fasting is these like keto, low carb stuff. And it's a hot mess for it's a hot mess for women's endocrine system. And I've had people contact me, message me on Instagram. Oh, I'm feeling like bloated, and I'm feeling like I can't lose this weight. And I'm like, because you're fasting. And I know how women's bodies work. It's not good for women to be fasting for long periods of time. Now, let me tell you the honest truth. I unintentionally, meaning I gotta fast on Sunday. So what happens is, on Saturday nights, we end up eating dinner at around 8 o'clock, just by the way that our schedules work. On Sundays, we wake up and go to church. So I don't end up eating until like 10 or 11 on Sunday. So that's automatically a 15-hour fast. That's one time a week. So that is not going to be detrimental. It might actually help your body to detox. But what I am saying is that doing, 18, 24, 32-hour fasts is long term. What I notice is these women have very puffy faces. They don't look like healthy. They have this bloat about them, this inflammation in their face that is not as it doesn't look healthy. It looks like their body is holding on to water, and that's probably the case, because when you don't flush out your body with a carbohydrate, water actually helps lean you out. Carbohydrates can help lean you out, keep you sucked in, looking nice and taut, and not like this. This is what happens when you're fasting. So you have to be okay. This is what my potatoes look like. I'm just gonna throw them in the pan. I told him dinner was gonna be ready, or breakfast was gonna be ready at whatever, and I lied. So yeah, we just want to be careful about the trends that we are engaging in, and we want to make sure that they're actually good for our health. For a long time, fasting was like this thing that everybody was doing, and it's so beneficial. And like I said, moderation always works. It always works. So, if you're interested in coaching around eating moderately, losing fat, burning fat, gaining muscle, getting that toned look, like, I've been doing this now for 12 years. Like, I've done it all. I've done vegan. I've done fruitarian. I've done keto. I've done low carb. I've done fasting. And honestly, the only thing that works, you guys, is just moderation. That's the thing that works long term. I went to Jamaica, ate whatever I wanted in whatever quantities I wanted, came back, got right back on my routine. My body sucked right back up. I didn't go on a fast. I didn't do anything crazy. I just went back to my routine. And that is the power and the benefit of learning to eat in moderation. You don't have to do anything crazy when you get back from vacation. You just go back to your routine, and your body goes, sucks right back up. My body got right back in line because she knew exactly what to do. She wasn't like, oh, this lady gave me so much food and now I don't know what to do with it. She was like, oh, you wanna put on a little muscle? Sure, let's do that. And suck right back up. So just know that if you're fasting, try to decrease your window as slowly over time, and normalize eating normal portions and in regular intervals. All right, you guys, so that's my video for today. I'm gonna put out some wedding content and show you guys everything that we did in Jamaica and honeymoon and all that stuff, but I'm still honestly like, I've got to clean this house. I've got to like organize all these boxes we have, and just like I'm still adjusting to like being a house manager essentially, like what are we having for dinner, whatever, all this stuff, buying furniture, sheets, and all this stuff. So it's an adjustment. But I just want to hop in here and talk to you guys about this new research that's out that is proving what we already knew, which is that if you are fasting, you are going to be, you're catabolic, you're losing muscle, and losing muscle is not good for anybody's health, because the goal is always to have a healthy body fat percentage. You guys know I believe in that wholeheartedly, having a healthy body fat percentage over everything. That tends to solve a lot of our health issues in our community. So anyway, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Sorry about the bad lighting. I will get some better lighting in here once we get our lives together. All right, you guys, it was so good seeing you. And don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.